The Rangers. Yeah, I didn't think I knew baseball. I know. Listen, Jay Holley's outside. The Texas Rangers sweep the Tampa Bay Rays, formerly of the Devil Rays. Right now, Steve Irwin is smiling down on us from heaven. Shout out to Steve Irwin. He appreciates us right now. Some of y'all will get that later. Some of y'all will catch that innuendo later. But Steve Irwin is smiling down on the Texas Rangers from heaven and saying, hell yeah, boys. Way to go. Way to go. 12-year drought. The monkeys off their back. The Rangers have not won a playoff series in 12 years. They're 0-6 in the final games of those playoff series. That little, I'm not going to call it a gorilla. I'm going to call it an orangutan. They got the orangutan off their back. And that's the start. Producer, partner, Taylor and I, he said, I got to give him credit. I got to give you credit. We had like a 15-minute argument. Tuesday? Monday? Monday. And everything that he said, he's like Mr. Cleo over there. He's got a crystal ball. Everything he said about what the Rangers could be in this series came to fruition. So I'm like, man, bullpen has been trash, pitching has been trash, the bats ain't really been there. He's like, but Jess, I'm telling you, playoffs, everything changes. Baseball is the most unpredictable sport. Was bad yesterday could be great today. What didn't go well for a month can go well for 2 weeks. Guys, all of a sudden, they were in the slumps during the regular season. They get in the playoffs and things just change. And by golly, pitching was pitching. Bullpen was bullpenning. Players were playing. Today, Nathan Eovaldi's come out and he's 6 innings pitch, 8 Ks, gave up 1 run. The bullpen came in, did their thing. The young bats, young and young. Evan Carter, I found this out. We were doing our research before the show. I didn't know. Evan Carter, his name was Full Count Carter in the minor leagues. The Rangers have found one. Shout out to Bochy. Shout out to CY. Chris Young for their ability. A part of good front office scouting evaluation is to be able, the guys who are the 5-star guys, those guys they're not hard to find, right? Those guys are there. But it's the guys where you have to see something that no one else sees. And a guy like Evan Carter, when you look at where he was in high school, whole senior year messed up because of COVID. Baseball, the writers of Baseball America, they didn't even have him on the list. No one had this guy ranked. No one had this guy voted. Nothing. And it takes your cat eye. You got to put your cat eye in there. And the Rangers saw something in him, grabbed him in the second round. This is like players like Evan Carter spend years in the minors. Years. This kid's 2 years removed from high school. 2 years, and now he's playing in the majors. And it's always a iffy proposition because it's a delicate proposition, I should say. Not an iffy, but a delicate proposition. When to bring a kid up? Is he ready? Does he have the tools? Because what you do in the minor leagues may not always translate to the major leagues. And whether it was a fluky situation while they called him up in September, it worked. It worked. And this is a kid, when you look at the skill set, in baseball they call it with 5-tool. 5-tool. I mean, he's in his bag. Okay? That means he's in his bag. And I think the two things, and this might be like, not for all sports, but like I'm gonna correlate it to all sports in the sense of, if you can play defense, and if whether it's a shot or whether it's a pass, or whether it's at the plate, if you have the patience to be good in those areas and you put in the work ethic, if you can start with those two things being a solid foundation, then I can piece all the rest of the stuff together. And Evan Carter is one of those guys. He has 70 at-bats between the regular season when he got called up and 8 at-bats. He has 62 in the regular season and 8 at-bats in the playoffs. 20 of those have been full counts. This is where he got the name Full Count Carter from. Because of his patience at the plate. And that's rare for a young player. Hell, it's rare for some of the veterans in the game. They just come up hacking, swinging away, closing their eyes and swinging for the fences. But when you have a player who's patient, who has the eye to see pitches, good pitches, bad pitches, understand count, understand where we're at in the game, understand runner's on base, that is a level of maturity that you don't see from a guy that's 2 years removed from high school. Most people thought this guy, hey, he got to go to school, he has to spend some time in college, do all that kind of stuff. Rangers was like, nah. When you can get a young player like that to the veteran squad of batters like Marcus Semien, like Corey Seager, like Big Bombi, when you add that level of youth, and you can add Josh Young in the mix as well, now you have a good chemistry of good young players and good veteran players. Now when that thing is rocking and rolling, sky's the limit. And to Tay's point, baseball is like football, basketball, you can kind of predict certain things. But baseball is one of the most unpredictable sports. It's the only sport where 30% is good. If you're 30% for 10 years, you go to the Hall of Fame. Like if you bat 300 for 10 years, you're probably going to the Hall of Fame. If you shoot 30% in the NBA, for 1 year, you might be in the G League. If you have 30% completion percentage as a quarterback in the National Football League, you become Zach Wilson. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. No, I'm sorry, Zach. You didn't deserve it. You become Justin Fields. 30%. You're out of the league. It's a weird game. Pitching the same way. The days of guys going 8, 9 innings, those are done. Complete games are very rare nowadays. It's more rare than it's ever been. And the bullpen, if you're a Texas Ranger fan and you follow the Rangers, you understand just how inconsistent and just unhinged the bullpen could be. That's in all teams. You just never know. And a good friend of mine, Mike Bassick, Mike made a point when it comes to bullpens. It's either you have it or you don't. Like there's no practice for bullpenning. Either you can throw the pitch or you can't. Either you can get 6 outs or you can't. Because there is no place where you're going to get bullpen action. You're not going to practice coming out of the bullpen. You'll throw your bullpen sessions, you'll get yourself warmed up, but it's not like I can go and shoot 100 jump shots or free throws or whatever. It's either you got it or you don't. And a lot of times if you get in your head or you just off or whatever, man, one game or one save attempt can turn into, it can spiral out of control. But you can get to the playoffs, things change. Bats came alive. Pitching came alive. This team has kind of been up and down, even down to the point where they lost the last game of the season, didn't win the West, but it was just like, all right, we here. And the playoffs in any sport is always the third season. You have your preseason, you have your regular season, then you have your postseason. And to their credit, right now, on to the next one. They'll play the Baltimore Orioles Saturday. The first game, Baltimore. In Baltimore, I want to go there. I just want some crabs from Baltimore. That's it. I just want a bushel. I can take down a bushel by myself. Yeah, man. Obey. I like extra Obey on mine. Fresh from the water. Man. Yeah. I'm all that. Yeah. I am a crab eating expert. And I'm not pausing that. I'm a crab eating expert. Rangers take on the Orioles this Saturday. Go Rangers, man. It's exciting, man. We'll get a home game. You're going out there. I may go out there. I may go out and check the Rangers out at home. It's a good time for baseball. Sports is sporting right now.